What's up, Zach?
What am I looking at?
This is Darwinia. Have you heard of this?
Vaguely recall hearing the name. I know nothing about
Darwin
this.
Darwinia is a game, I believe it came out in 2005 for Windows. And then later on it was ported to the Xbox 360 in like 2010. But this is by one of my favorite companies, a company called Introversion or Introvision. I think it's Introversion. They're one of my favorites, but I can't remember their name. Anyway,
Some
they made
loyalty
Uplink.
there.
Yeah, they made Uplink, which was one of my favorite games, which we'll do a video on eventually. But this is Darwinia, which came after Uplink. And it is a crazy game. The premise, I don't know if you've been reading the text, but the premise is that I don't know really what you are, but that man who keeps popping up and telling you things, invented this world, and he populated it with Darwinians. And he's some programmer just doing stuff. But then this world got infected with viruses, and it started messing up his Darwinians. So you are someone, I don't know if you're like a hacker who gets into his system or just like some interested AI, or I don't know what you are, but
being
you are
John
in
Malkovich.
the system.
You walked into his head, and now you're peering through his eyeballs.
Wouldn't that be crazy if that was the premise of this game? But
Now those look like the
you are
ships
just-
from Tron.
Yeah, it's definitely inspired by Tron, like heavily. But it is your job to unvirus his Darwinia and turn all the viruses back into those little green guys are Darwinians. So through a process of destroying those like red snakes are the viruses, and you can't do it in the first level. I realized, I forgot, I hadn't played this in a while. But eventually you there's something that looks very similar to that thing on screen, but is a thing that engineers can dump those red dots into, and then they become Darwinians. But that doesn't happen until a little later. But the main plot of this, or the main like gameplay loop of this, is creating squads and then like destroying these viruses, getting the engineers to grab the little red dots and then turn them into Darwinians, and then ferrying the Darwinians to safety. So you're basically clearing out islands and growing a population, and then putting that population to safety.
So is it like it's a real-time strategy game?
Yeah, it's real time, since you can't really pause. Even like when you're making new squads and stuff, when you hold tab to like make new units, it does not pause. So you really have to be, see, like my squad is kind of dying a little bit. But there's a research system where like, so right now I think I'm researching squads, and eventually just like over time, I'll be able to have like 5 people in a squad and then like 6 people in a squad. And there's other things you could be researching, like I can research the task manager, so I can have more than 3 units and other things like that. Oh no, I'm dying. Oh no! See, my program was terminated.
Oh no! So game over. The snakes won.
No, I just gotta make another squad.
Oh. Okay. So just is there a way to fail?
Not really. I mean, definitely Darwinians can die. Like if you mess up and make you can't control Darwinians directly, because in the fiction of the game they have their own like free will, but you can eventually make, it's sort of like lemmings, you can make a Darwinian an officer, and then he will guide other Darwinians, and you sort of make pipelines. But if you mess up and make Darwinians go next to viruses, like they will die. And I think there are times when you need to reset levels, because like much like lemmings, you need to save a certain percent or a certain number. And if you don't, then you basically fail and have to restart. But
So is it like level based, or is it just like a like sort of an open world?
it's level based to an extent, because right now you're in what's called the garden. Like that thing you saw at the beginning that was like we were inside a sphere. That's sort of all of Darwinia. And as you play through the levels, you sort of unlock portals. You'll see a little bit. There's one in the background. There's like a Stargate. And when you like hack the stargates with your engineers, that means you're able to go to that new world. And there's things to accomplish in each world. By and large, you're just clearing out viruses and making Darwinians and putting them in safety. But there's other like miniature goals as well. Like there's varied gameplay.
Can you have more than one squad at a time, or is that something you have to earn?
You can like I have those 2 engineers that aren't really doing anything. You see they're idle. I could destroy those 2 and just have squads. But
So what do the engineers do? The ones that look like the Tron ships or whatever?
yeah. They can hack things like this blue cube that I'm coming up to, they will hack. And they also collect the souls left behind by the viruses and bring them back to, I guess, like soul converters. There's a name for them. But they are ferrying souls and making new Darwinians. And they hack things. Like you'll see in a little bit, I have to hack a satellite dish in order to like teleport my guys. But they have many and varied uses. You can also upgrade them to do other things. But like this cube right now, I need an engineer to hack, or research rather. I don't know. How does this look to you?
It looks interesting. I kind of like the retro vibe of it. I like the idea of being in this like weird sort of digital space, and it does feel like an old game that I've probably played before, because I feel like when there was a time when I played something like this, but I don't remember any specific games like it. But this definitely, it feels like a very 80s movie type of thing. So what's the progression system like, or is there one?
There's a sense of progression because as you play, I see I have to hack it. I don't understand. These guys just want to go in this. Oh, they don't know what to do. But then I realized
that's what I look like when I don't know what to do as well.
Like so you'll upgrade your squad and you can upgrade your engineers and you get other units eventually. Like look, I just got this grenade.
Whoa.
Yeah, so you attack by holding right click and you just like kind of move your cursor. But now when I'm holding right click and I press left click, I can throw a grenade, which is very satisfying to do, especially if there's like a densely packed area of snakes. So you have to enable the trunk port. What I need you to do here is to open up this trunk port. So he's not calling it a Stargate, but that's what it is.
Oh, it's a trunk port. That's not nearly as iconic as Stargate. Remember that great series, Trunk Port?
Trunk Port Universe, Trunk Port Atlantis?
Yeah. Do you ever get like a ship to cross the Red Ocean?
No. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't believe that you do. That is how they sort of limit progression and make it a little linear, is that you need to find these satellite dishes and then you can port yourself across.
Aha.
See, now my guys are gonna go. Oh, they're going across. I wish you could hear these sound effects because they're very. Some of them are a little annoying, but a lot of them are very like retro and cool.
For a second there, I was gonna say, "Oh, this is where they got the man cannon," but then they were like slowly moving, so it's not quite the same.
So this is a cool thing. There's this densely packed area of virus snakes, but now I have the grenade.
Grenade it.
So I'm just gonna chuck a bunch of grenades in there, and it's very, very satisfying. Here it goes. It makes a really satisfying sound that you can't hear right now.
What year did this come out?
2005, and it very much is a 2005 game. Like, the UI is not great, and some of that is maybe intentional to make it seem like a classic game, but there aren't a lot of the minis. It's very bare bones.
Do they ever make another
probably
one of
run
these?
On anything. No. Well, they made our Darwinia Plus when the Xbox game came out. They made Darwinia Plus, which I think had more features. They also made a game called Multiwinia that I think was multiplayer, but I never really got into that as well.
This looks like the type of game that might be like doable for VR.
That's a good point. Yeah, I would enjoy that.
Now, what is
See, I'm
your
trying to.
engineer doing?
I'm just like constantly clicking this because I want him to like hack it, and he's not doing it. This game's a little buggy, but eventually now he's doing it. Now he's like following my orders.
He also has a trail of red dots. Is that souls he's picked up, or is he also a snake?
That's souls he's picked up. You can see on the left it says he's collected 10. So now I've unlocked this, so I'm leaving the location, and I'll give you a little taste of Containment, which is the first real level. Now he's giving you like a little pep talk about. So I came from the garden, and he.
His doctor. That's his name.
Spolveda. What an insane name to give this bald man.
That is not what I would have guessed just looking at him.
So you can see those like crazy red snakes in the background. And they're the crazy like floating things as well. Those like, see that thing? That thing makes very like frightening sounds when you get close to it. There's a little bit of this is like the closest thing you'll get to a cutscene. So he's basically walled off the garden. A walled garden.
Aha.
And now that you are there to help him, he's going to try and retake Darwinia with your help.
I mean, shouldn't it...
So you're basically systematically cleaning out the virus.
You could call this the Garden of Spolveda, but it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't sound quite as nice as Darwinia.
These cute little guys.
They're just in a state of constant yoga. They have their own digital souls.
Yeah, man. Got their own DNA.
Now, at some point, do you come across a copy of Dr. Spolveda, and he's a bad guy who is responsible for all the viruses?
Wouldn't that be crazy? But I have no idea.
Just how much like Tron Legacy is this?
Man, that was did you like Tron Legacy? I really liked it.
Yeah, I did too. I don't think it has a great reputation. It's not super well loved, but I had fun with it, so I always enjoyed it.
I did too.
I'll consider it a well, what's that? The word for something you like that is bad?
A guilty pleasure.
A guilty pleasure, yes. I will consider it that.
Well, anyway, this was a little look at an old game that I used to like. Do you think you would ever play this, Zach?
Probably not. But yeah. I did not mind watching
beautiful tree. Yeah, maybe I will, if I really do dive back into it, maybe I'll do some other stuff. But anyway, this was it.